Welcome to another video about Django tutorials. On the series of Django tutorials, we're going to here talk about how to work with our admin panel. So here what we're going to do is first of all create a super user. So I'm going to type python manage.py create super user. Let me do it again. So create super, and then I didn't write user, so you need to add the user too. Python manage.py create super user. So here you can add the super user. So for example, I'm gonna call this James, for example, and the email address could be James. So you'd better enter your name and then your email address, or a correct email address. But if you write an arbitrary email address that doesn't even exist, wouldn't be a problem. So the password, you need to memorize it or save it somewhere because it's important. You need to also confirm it. So I'm gonna do that and also do it again. And as you can see, the super user has been created successfully. So now let's run our server by running. So first let me clear the console and run python manage.py run server. There we go. So now I'm going to open up this page, and so first of all, let's get into this address. So just the same as always, we don't have anything on the main page. So I'm going to head over to the admin panel, and here I'm going to enter the name of our super user and the password that we've just considered for it. So I enter the password and we should be getting in. So now we're in. Welcome, James. So I'm just logged in as James. And here we can take a look at the users. So here we have the groups, the users, and also if you have a kind of models that you have created inside of your database that you have considered it to be able to manage it right here, you can see that too. So but right here we have the users. So I have two users, James and Mohammed. So I had created this one before. So you can get into any of these two, and there are some settings that you can set. So first of all is the one that you see is the James, which is the username. We also have a password which is encrypted over here, and so as you can see, it says that raw passwords are not stored. So there is no way to see this user's password. So if you log in with another user username, you will not be able to see the password as somebody else because it's encrypted and you cannot restore it. And the only way that you can restore this is by just getting the confirmation email and resetting the password that way. And I've created a complete tutorials about resetting the passwords and receiving the emails, and that's why I told you to enter the correct password, because you're going to get some emails. But if you haven't done this, don't worry, you can create another super user, and then you can log in with a new super user and then work with that new username and password. So here you can enter your own personal information, the first name, the last name. You can even you can change your email. So if you have created a new super user and you get here, you can change the email address. So there are also some permissions that you can set. The first one is for active, so it designates whether this user should be treated as active. So this is one of the features that you should consider for the permissions: staff status and also super user status. So if this one is checked, it means that this user is a super user. there are also the kinds of users that are not super user, and you might wonder how to create those. The way to create those is to create a sign-up form, and so we've covered a full tutorial about sign-up forms in this series of Django tutorials. And if you sign up that way, then you are not a super user. Super user is someone who can log in using the log into the admin panel. So if you're not the super user, you will not be able to log into the admin panel. So for example, if there's a website that is developed by Django, then the users cannot log in, only the super users are allowed to. So here we have the groups, the data related to the groups. So if this user has multiple groups, he or she can filter the names and find it by searching. And these are some settings about the authorities, user permissions, and so on. And here you can see the data related to logging in and the time that you've logged in and the date that you have joined. So all of this data are right here. If you want to delete the data of this user, delete this user entirely, you can press delete, or you can click on the save in order if you have changed any data about this user, and save it. So that's it. You can create groups right here inside of this panel and add some members. So for example, I can say extending the website. So actually here you should add the group this way. So you can name this extending the website. So here you can add so many of the categories that we have right here. So you can add the group, you can admin log entry, you can add log entry, and so on. So you can save this group, and as you can see, the group has been added and saved. We have extending the website as a group, and so we can get into it, we can change it, and so on. So that's it for this part of our tutorials. We've learned how to work with all of this stuff. In the future, we will also learn how to work with our models inside of the admin panel. And with that said, that's it for this video.